Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 31. Topics: Passing away in Baba's presence. Sannyasi Vijayanand, Balaram Mankar, Tatya Sahib Nulkar, Megha, the Tiger. Preliminary. The last thought that a man has at the moment of death determines his future course. Sri Krishna has said in the Gita, "He who remembers me in his last moments comes verily to me, and he that meditates otherwise at that time goes to what he meditates on." We cannot be certain that we can entertain a particular good thought at our last moment, for we are most likely to be terrified by many things. Hence, constant practice is necessary to enable us to fix our mind on any desired good thought at the time of our death. Saints therefore recommend that we always remember God and chant His name so that we are focused when the time for our departure comes. The devotees surrender themselves completely to the saints with a firm belief that the omniscient saints will guide and help them in the last moments. A few such cases will be noted here. Sannyasi Vijayanand. A sannyasi named Vijayanand started on a pilgrimage to Manasa Sarovara. On the way there, upon hearing of Baba's fame, he halted at Shirdi. There he met Somadevji Swami of Hardwar and asked him about the particulars of the Manas Sarovar trip. The Swami told him that the Sarovar was 500 miles from the Gangotri and described to him the difficulties of the journey. Plenty of snow, the change of dialect every 150 miles, and the suspicious nature of the people of Bhutan, who harassed the pilgrims. Hearing this, the sannyasi was dejected and cancelled the trip. Then, when he went to meet Baba and prostrated before him, Baba got enraged and said, "Drive out this useless sannyas. His company is of no use." The sannyasi did not know Baba's nature. He was upset by this, but sat there watching things that were happening in the masjid. It was the morning darbar and the masjid was crowded. Baba was being worshipped in various ways. Some were washing his feet, some were drinking the holy water from washing his feet, others were swabbing their eyes with it, while some were applying scents and sandal paste to his body. Everyone was doing these things with no distinction of caste and creed. Though Baba got enraged with him, he was filled with affection for Baba and did not want to leave the place. He had been in Shirdi for 2 days when he got a letter from Chennai stating that his mother was very ill. He was very dejected and wanted to be by his mother's side, but he could not leave without Baba's permission. So he saw Baba with a letter in his hand and asked for his permission to return home. Baba, who knew the future, said to him, "If you loved your mother so much, why did you accept sannyas? Fondness or attachment is not part of sannyasi's life. Go and sit quietly in your lodging and wait patiently for a few days. There are many robbers in the Vada. Bolt your doors and be very vigilant. Otherwise, the thieves will steal everything. Wealth and prosperity are transient, and the body is subject to decay and death. Knowing this, do your duty and forget all attachment to the things of this world and the next. He who does this and surrenders himself to the feet of Hari will be free from all troubles and will attain bliss. The Lord runs to help the devotee who remembers and meditates on him with love and affection. Your store of past merits is considerable, and thus you have come here. Now imbibe what I say and realize the aim of your life. With a desireless mind, begin from tomorrow the study of the Bhagavat. Do 3 saptahas, 1 reading every week. The Lord will be pleased with you and will destroy your sorrows. Your illusions will vanish and you will get peace. Seeing that his end was approaching, Baba prescribed that remedy and made him read the Rama Vijaya, which is believed to please the god of death. The next morning, after bathing and other purifying rites, he started reading the Bhagavad in a secluded part of Lendi garden. He completed 2 readings and thereafter felt very exhausted. He returned to the Vada and stayed in his lodging for 2 days, and on the third day he breathed his last on Fakir Bade Baba's lap. Baba asked people to preserve the body for a day for a very good reason. The police came later and, on making proper inquiries, gave permission for the disposal of the body. It was cremated in a proper place with due rites. In this way, Baba helped the sannyasi and ensured that he attained salvation. Balaram Mankar. There was a devotee named Balaram Mankar. When his wife passed away, he was rather dejected. So, after entrusting his household to his son, he left his home and came to Shirdi and lived with Baba. Baba was pleased with his devotion and wanted to give a good turn to his life. He gave him 12 rupees and asked him to go and live in Machindragad. Mankar was first unwilling to go and stay away from Baba, but Baba convinced him that he was suggesting the best course of action and asked him to practice meditation thrice a day. With full faith in Baba's words, Mankar came to Machindragad. He was very pleased with the lovely sights, pure water, healthy air, and surrounding of the place and began to meditate as recommended by Baba. After a few days, he had a revelation. Usually, devotees get revelations in their trance states, but in Mankar's case, he got it when he came back to his ordinary consciousness. Baba appeared to him in person. Mankar asked Baba why he had sent him there. Baba replied, "In Shirdi, many thoughts and ideas began to arise in your mind. I sent you here to rest your unsteady mind. You thought that I was in Shirdi with a body only composed of the 5 elements and 3.5 cubits in length. Now see and determine for yourself whether the person you see here is the same as the person you saw at Shirdi. It is for this reason that I sent you here." Then, after living there for a while, Mankar left Machindragad and proceeded to his native place, Bandra. He wanted to travel by rail from Pune to Dadar, but when he went to the booking office to get a ticket, he found it very crowded. He was not able to get the ticket when suddenly a villager wearing a piece of cloth around his waist and a thin blanket on his shoulders turned up and said, "Where are you going?" To the other replied Mankar. Then he said, "Please take this ticket of mine as I have some urgent business. I have cancelled my Dadar trip." Mankar was very glad to receive the ticket and was just about to pay the villager when the rustic suddenly disappeared into the crowd. Mankar tried to look for him in the crowd, but it was in vain. He waited for him till the train left the station but found no trace of him. This was the second revelation Mankar got in a strange form. The Mankar, after visiting his home, again returned to Shirdi and remained there at Baba's feet. He always followed Baba's instructions and advice. In the end, he was very fortunate to live the world in the presence and with the blessings of Baba. Tatya Sahib Nolkar. Hemant Pant gives no particulars regarding Tatya Sahib Nolkar, except mentioning the fact that he gave up his ghost in Shirdi. A brief summary of an account that appeared in the Sai Leela magazine is given here. Tatya Sahib was a sub-judge at Pandharpur in 1909 when Nana Sahib Chandorkar was Mamaldar, that is the district official. The two men met often and talked. Tatya Sahib did not believe in saints while Nana Sahib loved them. Nana Sahib often told him about the Leelas of Sai Baba and pressed him to go to Shirdi and see Baba. He finally agreed to go to Shirdi on 2 conditions: that he must be a Brahmin cook, or he must get a Brahmin cook, and that he must find good Nagpur oranges to give Baba. Both these conditions were providentially fulfilled. A Brahmin came to Nana Sahib looking for work and he was sent to Tatya Sahib, and a fruit parcel containing 100 beautiful oranges was received by Tatya Sahib. As the conditions were fulfilled, Tatya Sahib had to go to Shirdi. At first, Baba was enraged with him, but soon enough, Tatya Sahib got such experience that he was convinced that Baba was God incarnate. Thus, he was enamored of Baba and stayed there till his death. At his end was approaching, sacred literature was read out to him during his last few minutes. Baba's Padatirth was brought and given to him to drink. Baba, on hearing of his death, said, Tatya went ahead of us. He won't be reborn. Megha. Megha's story has already been described in the chapter 28. When Megha died, all the villagers followed the funeral procession, and Baba also accompanied them and showered flowers on Megha's body. After all the rituals were performed, tears flowed from Baba's eyes, and like an ordinary mortal, Baba showed himself overcome with grief and sorrow. Then, covering the body with flowers and crying like a close relative, Baba returned to the masjid. Many saints have been helping humans attain salvation, but Baba's greatness is unique. Even a cruel animal like a tiger came to Baba's feet to be saved. It is the story which will be narrated now. The tiger. 7 days before Baba passed away, a wonderful incident occurred at Shirdi. There came a country cart that stopped in front of a masjid. A tiger was on the cart, fastened with iron chains. With its fierce face facing the rear, it was suffering from some pain or agony. Its keepers, 3 dervishes, were taking it from place to place and making money by exhibiting it. It was the means of their subsistence. They tried all sorts of remedies to cure it, but everything was in vain. Then they heard of Baba's fame and came to him with the animal. They led it off the cart with chains in their hands and made it stand at the door. It was naturally fierce, disease-ridden, and restless. People began to look at it with fear and amazement. The dervishes went in, told Baba everything about the animal, and with his consent brought him before him. As it approached the steps, it was taken aback on account of the luster of Baba and bowed its head. Baba looked at the animal, and it climbed the steps and looked at Baba with affection. Immediately, it moved the tuft of its tail and dashed it thrice against the ground and then fell down senseless. On seeing it dead, the dervishes were at first very dejected and full of sorrow, but on contemplating it later, they came to their senses. They reasoned that as the animal was diseased and nearing its end, it was very meritorious on its part that it should meet its end at Baba's feet. It was the debtor, and when the debt was paid off, it was free and met its end at Sai's feet. When any creature bows its head at the saint's feet and meets its death, it is saved and useless, and unless it has a good store of merits in its account. How could it get such a happy end? End of chapter 31. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra chapter 32. Topics. First one. How Baba met his Guru in the woods and thereby met God. Second, in the quest of the Guru and God. Fasting disapproved. Third one, how Baba made Mrs. Gokhale break her fast. Fourth one, Baba's Sirkar. Preliminary. In the beginning, Hemad Pant describes the visible world using the allegory of the banyan tree, which has, in the phraseology of the Gita, roots above and branches below. Its branches are spread both downwards and upwards and are nourished by qualities. Its sprouts are the objects of the senses, its roots leading to actions are extended downwards to this world of men. Its form cannot be known in this world, and nor can its beginning or end be seen. After severing these strong roots with the sharp weapon of non attachment, one should seek the path beyond which there is no return. To traverse this path, the help of good guide, that is the Guru, is absolutely necessary. However learned a man may be, or however deep he might study the Vedas and the Vedangas are the sacred literature. He cannot get to his destination safely without a guide. If a guide is there to help him and show him the right path, he can avoid the pitfalls and the wild beasts on the journey, and everything will be smooth sailing. Baba's experience in this matter, a story which he himself tells, is truly wonderful. When remember, it will give you faith, devotion, and salvation. The quest. Once the four of us were studying religious scriptures and other books, and thus feeling enlightened, we began to discuss the nature of the Brahma. One of us said that we should raise this self by self and not depend on others. To this, the second replied that he would control his mind is blessed. Thus, we should be free from thoughts and ideas, and there is nothing in this world without us. The third said that the world is always changing, the formless is eternal, and thus we should discriminate between the real and the unreal. And the fourth, Baba himself, urged that bookish knowledge is worthless and added, let us do our prescribed duty and surrender our body, mind, and five pranas, the life sources, at the Guru's feet. The Guru is God and is all pervading. To attain this conviction, strong and unbounded faith is necessary. While discussing this, we began to ramble through the woods in a quest for God. The three others wanted to make the quest with their free and unaided intellect. On the way, a Vanjari, a traveling vendor who sells things such as grain, met us and asked us, it is hot now. Where and how far are you going? To search the woods, we replied. He inquired, on what quest are you bound? We gave him an ambiguous and evasive reply. Seeing us rambling aimlessly, he was moved and said, since you do not know the woods well, you should not wander at random. If you want to walk through forests and jungles, you should take a guide with you. Why do you exert yourselves unnecessarily at this hot noon hour? You may not want to tell me about your secret quest, but you can still sit down, eat bread, drink water, rest, and then resume your search. Always be patient at heart. Though he spoke with so much affection, we discarded his offer and marched on. We thought that we were self content men and needed nobody's help. The woods were vast and trackless, and the trees therein grew so close and tall, and the sunrays could not penetrate through them, so we lost our way and wandered for a long time. Ultimately, through sheer good luck, we came back to the place from where we started. The Vanjari met us again and said, relying on your own skills, you lost your way. A guide is always necessary to show us the right way in small or great matters, and no quest can be successfully carried out on an empty stomach. Unless God wills it, no one meets us on the way. Do not discard offers of food. Served dishes should not be thrust away. Offers of food should be regarded as auspicious signs of success. Saying this, he again offered us food and asked us to calm and patient. Again, the others did not like his hospitality and discarded his offer and went away. They were very obstinate. I was hungry and thirsty, and I was moved by the Vanjari's extraordinary love. We thought ourselves very learned, but were strangers to pity and kindness. The Vanjari was an illiterate fellow, and yet he had love in his heart and invited us to share his bread in this way. He who loves others disinterestedly is really enlightened, and I thought acceptance of his hospitality was the best way to begin gaining knowledge. So, very respectfully, I accepted the loaf of bread and drank water. Then, all of a sudden, the Guru appeared before us and asked, "What was the dispute about?" I told him everything that had happened. Then he said, "Would you like to come with me? I will show you what you want." But he alone who believes in what I say will be successful. I bowed to him reverently and accepted his dictum. Then he took me to a well, tied my feet with a rope, and hung me, head downwards and feet up, from a tree near the well. I was suspended 3 feet above the water, which I could not reach with my hands. Suspending me in this manner, he went away, no one knew where. After 4 or 5 hours, he returned, took me out quickly, and asked me how had fared. It was bliss supreme. How can a fool like me describe the joy I experienced? I replied. On hearing my answer, the Guru was very pleased with me, drew me near him, and stroking my body with his hand, kept me with him. He took care of me as tenderly as a mother bird does of her young ones. He enrolled me in a school. How beautiful it was! There, I forgot about my family, all my attachment was destroyed, and I was liberated easily. I thought that I should embrace his neck and remain staring at him always. If his image were not fixed in my pupils, I would prefer to be blind. Such was the school. No one who entered it once could return empty handed. My guru became everything, my home, property, mother, father, everything. All my senses left their places and concentrated themselves in my eyes, and my sight was centered on him. Thus, my guru was the sole object of my meditation. I was conscious of none else. While meditating on him, my mind and intellect were stunned. I kept quiet and bowed to him in silence. There are other schools where you see an altogether different spectacle. The disciples go there to seek knowledge and spend their money, time, and labor, but ultimately they have to repent. The Guru there boasts of his secret knowledge and his straightforwardness. He makes a show of his sacredness and holiness, but he is not tender at heart. He speaks a lot and sings his own glory, but his own words do not touch the disciples' hearts so far as self realization is concerned. That Guru has none. How can such schools be of any use to disciples, and how are they benefited? The Master, the Guru, mentioned above was of a different nature, but his grace, realization came to me by itself without effort or study. I did not have to seek anything and everything because as clear to me as broad daylight. The Guru alone knows how suspending a person upside down can bring happiness. Among the four, one was a karmata, that is ritualist, who only knew how to observe and abstain from certain rites. The second was Gnani, who was puffed up with the pride of knowledge, and the third was the Bhakta, who surrendered himself completely to God, believing that he was the sole doer. When they were arguing, the question of God turned up, and they, depending on their unaided knowledge, went in search of him. Sai, who was discrimination and dispassionate incarnate, was one of the four. Since Baba was Brahma incarnate, some may ask, why did he mix with them and act foolishly? He did this to set them an example to follow. Though a great incarnation himself, he respected the lowly Vanjari by accepting his food. He firmly believed that food is Brahma and showed how those who rejected the Vanjari's hospitable offer suffered and how it was impossible to get gnana without a guru. The Shruti exhorts us to honor and worship our mother, father, and preceptor and to study the sacred scriptures. These are the means of purifying our minds, and unless this purification is effected, self realization is not possible. Neither the senses nor the mind and intellect reach the self. It is the grace of gurus that counts. The object of our life, such as dharma, artha, and kama, are attainable with our effort, but the fourth object, moksha, that is the liberation, can only be attained with the help of a guru. In the darbar of Sri Sai, many personalities appear and play their part. Astrologers come and give their prediction. Princes, noblemen, poor men, sannyasis, yogis, singers, and others come to receive darshana. Many others, like jugglers, the blind, the lame, dancers, and other players, come and are given suitable reception. Biding his own time, the Vanjari also appeared and played the part of assigned to him. Let us now turn into the other story. Fasting and Mrs. Gokhale. Baba never fasted and nor did he allow others to do so. The mind of the faster is never at ease, so how then could he or she attain his Paramatma, that is, goal of life? God is not attained on an empty stomach, for the soul has to be appeased. If there is no moisture and nutrition of food in the stomach, with what eyes should we see God? With what tongue should we describe His greatness? And with what ears should we hear the same? In short, when all our organs get their proper nutrition and are sound, we can practice devotion and other sadhanas, that the spiritual sadhanas, to attain God. Therefore, neither fasting nor overeating is good. Moderation in diet is really wholesome, both for the mind and the body. Mrs. Gokhale came to Shirdi with an introductory letter from Mrs. Khasibai Kanitkar, a devotee of Baba, to Dada Kelkar. She came to Baba, determined to sit at Baba's feet and observe a 3 days fast. The previous day, Baba said to Dada Kelkar that he would not allow his children to starve during the holy days, and that if they had to starve, why was he there? The next day, when the women went with Dada Kelkar and sat at Baba's feet, Baba at once said to her, "What is the necessary of fasting? Go to Dada Bhatt's house, prepare the dish of puran polis, wheat rotis with gram flour and jaggery, and feed his children and yourself." Mrs. Kelkar was then in her menses, and there was nobody to cook in Dada Bhatt's house, so Baba's advice was very timely. So Mrs. Gokhale had to go to Dada Bhatt's house and prepare the dish as directed. She cooked that day and fed everyone. What a good story and how beautiful its import. Baba Sirkar, that is, true boss. Baba once told a story of his boyhood, which was as follows. When I was youngster, I was in search of bread and went to Bidgaon, where I got work doing embroidery. I worked hard and spared no pains to do my work well. The employer was very pleased with me. 3 other boys had worked there before me. The first got 50 rupees, the second 100, and the third 150. And I was given twice the sum of their amounts, that is 600 rupees. After noticing my extraordinary skill, the employer loved me, raised me, and honored me with a full dress, a turban for my head, and a dress. I kept this dress intact and did not use it right away. I thought that what a man might give does not last long and it is always imperfect, but what God gives lasts till the end of time. No other gift from any man can be compared to his. My Lord says, "Take, take," but everybody comes to me and says, "Give, give." Nobody attends carefully to the meaning of what I say. My Lord's treasury, the spiritual wealth, is full. It is overflowing. He says, "Dig it out and take away this wealth in cartloads." The skill of my fakir, the leela of my Bhagwan, and the aptitude of my sirkar are quite unique. And what about me? My body will mix with the earth and my breath with the air. This time won't come again. I go somewhere and sit somewhere, and the hard Maya troubles me greatly. And yet I still always feel anxious for my devotees. He who does anything spiritually will reap its fruits, and he who remembers these words of mine will get invaluable happiness. End of chapter 32. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra, chapter 33. Topics: The greatness of Udi, Scorpion stings and plague cases cured, the Jamner miracle, Narayan Rao's sickness, Bala Buva Sutar, Appa Saheb Kulkarni, and Aribabu Karnik. In the last chapter, we came to know the greatness of Guru, and now in this chapter, we'll come to know the greatness of Udi. Preliminary: let us now bow before the great saints. Their merciful glances will destroy mountains of sins and do away with all the evil streaks in our character. The casual talk gives us valuable lessons and confers on us perishable happiness. Their minds do not know any difference, such as this is ours and that is yours. Such differentiation never arises in their minds. Our obligation to them will never be repaid by us in this birth as well as in many future births to come. Odi. It is well known that Baba asked for or received dakshina from devotees who visited him, and out of the amount thus collected, he spent a lot on charity and purchased fuel with the remaining amount. He fed this fuel into the dhuni, the sacred fire which he always kept burning. The ash from this fire was called Odi, and it was freely distributed to the devotees at the time of their departure from Shirdi. What did Baba teach by this Odi? Baba taught us that all the visible phenomena in this universe is as transient as ash. Our bodies, composed of the 5 elements, will perish after all the worldly enjoyments are over and will be reduced to ashes. In order to remind the devotees of this, Baba distributed Udi to them. Baba also taught through Udi that Brahma is the only reality, that the universe is ephemeral, and that no one in the world, son, father, or wife, is really ours. We come into this world alone and we have to live alone. While Udi also cured many physical and mental problems, Baba wanted to teach his devotees the principles of discrimination between the unreal and real and non-attachment for the unreal. The Udi taught us discrimination and Dakshina taught us detachment. Unless we have these two things, it is not possible for us to cross over the sea of mundane existence. So Baba asked for and received Dakshina, and when the devotees took leave, he gave them Udi as prasad, besmeared some of it on their forehead, and placed his boon conferring hands on their heads. When Baba was in a cheerful mood, he used to sing merrily. One of the songs he sang was about Udi. The chorus of that song was, "O playful Rama, come and bring with you sacks of Udi." Baba used to sing this song in a very clearly and sweet tone. Udi also had its material significance. It conferred health, prosperity, freedom from anxiety, and many other worldly gains. Thus, Udi helped us to gain both our end materials as well as spiritual. Inspired by Baba, we shall now begin to tell you the stories about Udi. The Scorpion Sting. Narayan Motiram Jani of Nasik was a devotee of Baba. He was working for another devotee of Baba named Ramachandra Vaman Modak. Once he went to Shirdi with his mother and saw Baba. Then Baba told the mother that her son should not work for anyone and should start his own business. A few days after this, Baba's prophecy came true. Narayan Jani quit his job and started a boarding house which later thrived. Once, a friend of Narayan Rao's was stung by a scorpio, and a pain caused by it was severe and unbearable. Udi is very efficacious in such cases and should be applied to the area of pain. So Narayan Rao searched for it but found none. Then he stood before Baba's picture, invoked Baba's aid, chanted Baba's name, and taking a pinch of the ashes of the incense burning in front of Baba's picture, and thinking it to be Baba's udi, he applied it to the area that had been stung. As soon as he applied it, the pain vanished, and both persons were moved and were grateful to Baba. The bubonic plague case, a devotee in Bandra came to know that his daughter, who was living in another place, was down with bubonic plague. He had no udi with him, so he sent word to Nana Sahib Chandorkar to send the same. Nana Sahib got this message on a road near the Tana railway station when he was travelling with his wife to Kalyan. He had no udi with him at the time. He therefore took some earth from the road, meditated upon Sai Baba, invoked his aid, and applied to the forehead of his wife. The devotee heard about this, and when he went to his daughter's house, he was very glad to learn that his daughter, who had been suffering for 3 days, had begun to improve from the very moment Nana Sahib invoked Baba's aid. The Jamner miracle. About the year 1904, Nana Sahib Chandorkar was Mamaldar at Jamner, which is more than 100 miles from Shirdi. His daughter Mainatai was pregnant and was about to deliver. The case was very serious. She had been suffering from labor pains for about 2 or 3 days. Nana Sahib tried all sorts of remedies, but they proved in vain. He then remembered Baba and invoked his aid. In Shirdi, at about the same time, a man named Ramgir Buba, who Baba called Bapu Girbahu, wanted at this time to visit his native place in Khandesh. Baba called him and told him to rest a little at Jamner on his way home and give the udi and arti to Nana Sahib. Ramgir Bua said that he only had 2 rupees with him and that this amount was barely sufficient for the railway fare up to the Jalgaon, and thus it was not possible for him to go from Jalgaon to Jamner, a distance of about 30 miles. Baba assured him that he need not worry as everything would be provided for him. Then Baba asked Shama to write out the well-known Arti composed by Madhav Atkar, a translation of which is given at the end of this work, and give a copy of it with Udi to Ramgir Bova. He then asked Ramgir Bova to deliver this to Nana Sahib. Relying on Baba's words, Ramgir Bova left Shirdi and reached Jalgaon at about 2:45 a.m. He had no money left with him and was in hard plight. To his great relief, he heard somebody calling out, "Who is Bapugir Buva of Shirdi?" He went to the man and told him that he was Bapugir Buva. Then the peon, claiming to be sent by Nana Sahib, took him out to an excellent tanga with a good pair of horses. The tanga drove fast, and early in the morning they came to a brooklet. The driver took the horses to water them, and the peon asked Ramgir Buva to partake of some eatables. On seeing the beard, moustache, and the livery of the peon, Ramgir Buva suspected he was a Muslim and was thus unwilling to take any refreshment from him. But the peon satisfied him by saying that he was a Hindu. The peon also said that Nana Sahib had sent this refreshment and that there should be no hesitation or doubt about accepting them. Then both of them ate and started on the journey again. They reached Jamner at dawn. Ramgir Buva alighted to attend the call of nature and returned within a few minutes, but found that there was no tanga driver or the peon. He was dumbfounded. Then he went to nearby village office. Upon making inquiries, learned that the Mamaldar was at home. He went to Nana Sahib's house, introduced himself, and gave Nana Sahib udi and arti. At this time, Maina Tai's case was very serious and everyone was very anxious about her. Nana Sahib called out to his wife and asked her to give the udi mixed with water to their daughter and sing Baba's arti. He thought that Baba's help was very timely. In a few minutes she delivered safely and the crisis had passed. She delivered safely and the crisis was past when Ramgir Bhuva thanked Nana Sahib for the peon, thanga and the refreshment. Nana Sahib was rather surprised. He had not sent anyone to the station as he did not know someone was coming from Shirdi. Mr. B.V. Dio of Thana, retired Mamaldar, made inquiries about the matter with Papurao Chandorkar, that is Nana Sahib's son, and with Ramgir Buwa, and then wrote an elaborate article, part prose and part poetry, in the Sri Sai Leela magazine, volume 13, numbers 11, 12, and 13. B.V. Narsim Swami also took down the statements of Mainatahi Bapu Sahib Chandorkar and Ramgir Buwa and published them in Devotees Experience Part 3. The following is quoted from Ramgir Buwa's statement. One day, Baba called me and gave me a packet of Udi and a copy of Baba's Aarti. I was planning on traveling to Khandesh at the time. Baba directed me to go to Jamner and told me to deliver the Aarti and Udi to Nana Sahib Chandorkar. I told him that all I had was 2 rupees and asked him how that would take me by train from Kopargaon to Jalgaon and then by cart from Jalgaon to Jamner. Baba said, God will give. That was Friday and I started at once. I reached Manmad at 7:30 p.m. and Jalgaon at 2:45 a.m. Plague regulations were being enforced and I had quite a bit of trouble getting to Jalgaon. At about 3 a.m., a peon in boots, a turban, and well equipped with other details of good dress appeared and took me to a tanga and drove me on. He claimed that he worked for Nana Sahib Chandorkar. I was rather surprised on the way. I shared the refreshment he offered me. We reached Jamner early in the morning, and by the time I returned from attending the call of nature, the tanga, the peon, and its driver had disappeared. Narayan Rao. A devotee named Narayan Rao, surname not given in this case, had the good fortune of meeting Baba twice during the latter's lifetime. Yet, even 3 years after Baba passed away, Narayan Rao wanted to come to Shirdi but could not come due to an illness. Within a year of Baba's Mahasamadhi, he had fallen sick and suffered a lot. All ordinary remedies gave him no relief, and so he meditated on Baba day and night. One night in his dreams, Baba came to him through a cellar and comforted him, saying, "Don't be anxious, you will improve from tomorrow, and within a week you will be on your legs." Narayan Rao recovered fully within the time mentioned in the vision. Now, the point of the story is, was Baba living because he had a body, or was he dead because he had left it? Baba is always alive, for he transcends both life and death. Even a person who gives Baba wholehearted affection once gets a response from him at any time and at any place. He is always by our side and will take any form and appear before the devout disciple and satisfy him. Appa Sahib Kulkarni. In 1917, Appa Sahib Kulkarni had a chance to meet Baba. He was transferred to Thana and began to worship Baba's picture, which Bala Sahib Bhate had given him. He earnestly worshipped this picture, offered flowers, sandal paste, and naivedya, the religious offering of food, and had an intense desire to meet Baba. In this connection, it can be said that bowing before Baba's picture earnestly is equivalent to seeing him in person. The following story illustrates the statement. Bala Bua Sutar, a saint from Bombay named Bala Bua Sutar, who on account of his piety, devotion and bhajans was called modern Tukaram, came to Shirdi for the first time. In 1917, when he bowed before Baba, the latter said, "I have known this man for the past 4 years." Bala Bua wondered how this could be. He had never been to Shirdi before or met Baba, and thus he wondered why Baba said this. But upon thinking about it carefully, he recollected that he had prostrated himself 4 years ago before Baba's portrait in Bombay. Thus he was convinced about the significance of Baba's words. He said to himself, "How great saint and all pervading are the saints, how kind they are to their devotees." I merely bowed to his photo, and this was noticed by Baba. And in due course, he made me realize that seeing his photo is equivalent of seeing him in person. Appa Sahib Kulkarni's story continued. Now we return to Appa Sahib's story. While he was in Thana, he had to go on to tour to Bhiwandi and was not expected to return for a week. In his absence, the following wonderful thing took place on the third day after his departure. At noon, a fakir turned up at Appa Sahib's house. His features resembled those of Baba. Mrs. Kulkarni and the children asked him whether he was Sai Baba of Shirdi. He said he wasn't, but he was an obedient servant of his and he had come there at Baba's direction to inquire about the health of the family. Then he asked for Dakshina and Mrs. Kulkarni gave him a rupee. The fakir then gave her a small packet of udi and asked her to keep this in the shrine next to Baba's photo. Then the fakir bade goodbye and left. Now listen to this wonderful Leelas of Sai. Appa Sahib could not proceed with this tour as his horse had fallen sick at Bhiwandi. He returned home that afternoon and learned from his wife about the fakir's visit. He thought it was unfortunate that he did not receive the darshan of this fakir and was not happy that only 1 rupee was paid as dakshina. He said that had he been present, he would have offered no less than 10 rupees. Then he immediately left to find the fakir on an empty stomach. His search was in vain. He then returned home and had his food. The reader may remember here Baba's dictum that the quest of God should not be made on an empty stomach. Appa Sahib learnt a lesson about this. Then after his meals, he went out for a walk with a friend. After walking some distance, they saw a man approaching them rapidly. Appa Sahib thought that he must be the fakir that came to his house at noon, as he resembled Sai Baba. The fakir immediately put forth his hand and asked for dakshina. Appa Sahib gave him a rupee, yet he demanded money repeatedly, and so Appa Sahib gave him 2 more, and the fakir was still not satisfied. Then he borrowed 3 rupees from his friend and gave him to fakir, and yet the fakir wanted more. Appa Sahib asked the fakir to accompany him home. Then they all returned home, and Appa Sahib gave him another 3 rupees. In all, it's 9 rupees. He looked unsatisfied and demanded more. Then Appa Sahib told him that he had a currency note of 10 rupees. The fakir asked for the same and took it, returned the 9 rupees and left. Appa Sahib had said that he would pay 10 rupees and that sum was taken from him and 9 rupees consecrated by Baba's touch were returned to him. The figure 9 is significant. It denotes the 9 types of devotion. It may also be noted that the Baba gave 9 rupees to Lakshmi Bai Shinde in his last moments. Appa Sahib examined the udi packet and found that it contained a few flower petals and akshata. Then a few years later, he got a hair from Baba when he received his darshana at Shirdi. He put the udi packet and the hair in a talisman and always wore it on his arm. Appa Sahib also discovered the power of udi in other ways. Though he was a very intelligent man, he made 40 rupees as pay initially, but after he secured Baba's photo and udi, he got many times 40 rupees per month and also got lot of power and influence. And in addition to this temporal benefits, his spiritual progress was also rapid. So those who are fortunate enough to get Baba's udi should, after a bath, apply it to their forehead and drink some of it mixed with water as holy tirtha. Haribabu Karnik. In 1917, Haribabu Karnik of Dahanu, that's the Tana district, came to Shirdi on the Guru Purnima day in the month of Ashada and worshipped Baba with all due formality. He offered clothes and dakshina, and after taking Baba's leave through Shama, walked down the steps of the masjid. Then he thought that he would offer 1 rupee to Baba and was about to return. Shama signaled that as he had received Baba's permission to leave, he should go and not return. He then left and, on his way home, went into the temple of Kala Rama at Nasik to receive darshan. The Saint Narsingh Maharaj, who used to sit inside the big door of the temple, left his devotees, came to Haribabu, caught his wrist and said, "Give me my 1 rupee." Karnik was surprised. He paid the rupee willingly and thought that Sai Baba had recovered the rupee, which he intended to give through the saint Narsingh Maharaj. This shows how saints work in unison. End of chapter 33. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra chapter 34. Topics: the greatness of Udi, the doctor's nephew, Dr. Pillai, Shama's sister in law, the Iranian girl, the gentleman from Harda, and the lady from Bombay. The doctor's nephew. There was a doctor who lived in a place called Malegaon. His nephew suffered from an incurable disease, tubercular bone abscess, and the doctor and his brothers, who were also doctors, tried all sorts of remedies and even an operation. All this did not give the boy any relief, and there seemed to be no end to the little boy's suffering. Friends and relatives advised the parents of the boy to seek divine aid and recommended them to try Sai Baba, who was known to have cured such incurable cases by his mere glance. The parents therefore came to Shirdi and prostrated before Baba. They placed the boy before him and pleaded humbly and respectfully and implored Baba to save their son. The merciful Baba comforted them, saying, "Those who resort to this masjid shall never suffer anything in this life until the end of time. Be carefree now. Apply Udi on the abscess, and within 1 week he will recover. Believe in God. This is not a masjid but a Dwaravati, a celestial doorway. He who steps in will soon get health and happiness. His sufferings will come to an end." The boy was placed before Baba, who touched the affected part and cast his loving glances on the boy. The patient was pleased, and with the application of Udi, he began to recover and was completely cured within a few days. The parents then left Shirdi with their son, thanking Baba for the cure. This cure was through Udi and Baba's divine grace. After learning about all this, the doctor was wonderstruck and wanted to receive Baba's darshan. While he was on his way to Bombay for some business, but at Malegaon and Manmad, somebody spoke to him about Baba and poisoned his ears. He therefore dropped the idea of visiting Shirdi and went to Bombay directly. He wanted to spend the rest of his vacation at Alibag, but at Bombay he heard on 3 successive nights a voice crying out, "You still don't believe me?" Then the doctor changed his mind and resolved to go to Shirdi. He had to attend a case of viral fever in Bombay which showed no signs of abatement. So he thought that his Shirdi trip would be postponed. He, however, proposed a test in his mind and said, "If the patient gets better today, I shall start for Shirdi tomorrow." The amazing thing was that exactly at the time he proposed the test in his mind, the patient's fever began to abate and the patient's temperature soon became normal. Then he went to Shirdi with Baba's grace, received Baba's darshan, and prostrated himself before Baba. He stayed there for 4 days and returned home with Baba's Udi and blessings. His nephew's case had given him an opportunity to see Baba, and this gave him everlasting love for Baba's feet. Dr. Pillai. Dr. Pillai was a devotee who was very close to Baba. He was well liked by Baba, who always called him Bahu, that is, brother. Baba spoke to him regularly, consulted him in all matters, and always wanted him by his side. Pillai once suffered very badly from guinea worms. He said to Kaka Dikshit, "The pain is so excruciating and unbearable. I prefer death to it. I know this pain is to repay my past karma, but please go to Baba and tell him to stop the pain and transfer the repayment of my past karma to 10 future births of mine. Dikshit went to Baba and told him of Pillai's request. Then Baba, moved by his request, said to Dikshit, "Tell him to be fearless. Why should he suffer for 10 births? In 10 days, he can work out the sufferings and consequences of his past karma. When I am here to take care of his temporal and spiritual welfare, why should he pray for death? Bring him here on somebody's back and let us work and finish his suffering once and for all." Dr. Pillai was brought in that condition and was seated to the right of where Baba seated. Baba gave Pillai his pillow and said, "Lie calmly here and be at ease. The true remedy is that the results of our past actions have to be suffered through. Our karma is the case of our happiness and sorrow. Therefore, put up with whatever comes to you. God is the sole dispenser and protector, always thinks of him. He will take care of you. Surrender to his feet with body, mind, wealth, and speech, and then see what he does." Dr. Pillai told Baba that Nana Sahib had put bandage over the leg, but he had gotten no relief from this. "Nana is a fool," replied Baba. "Take that bandage off, or else you will die. Now a crow will come and peck you, and then you will recover." While this conversation was going on, a man named Abdul, who cleaned the masjid, turned up. While he was attending to his work of cleaning, his foot accidentally fell upon Dr. Pillai's stretched out leg. The leg was already swollen, and when Abdul's foot fell upon it and pressed it, all the severe guinea worms were squeezed out at once. The pain was unbearable, and Dr. Pillai bawled out loudly. After some time, he calmed down and began to sing and cry alternately. Then Pillai inquired when the crow was coming and when it was going to peck him. Baba said, "Did you not see the crow? He won't come again." Abdul was the crow. "Now go and rest in the Vada. You will soon be all right." By the application of Udi, drinking it mixed with water, and without taking any other treatment or medicine, the disease was completely cured in 10 days as predicted by Baba. Shama's sister-in-law. Shama's younger brother, Babaji, was living near a well. Once his wife contracted bubonic plague and had a high fever and 2 lumps in her groin. Babaji rushed to meet Shama at Shirdi and asked him to come and help. Shama was frightened, but to honor his brother's request, he went to Baba, prostrated himself before Baba, invoked his aid, and requested Baba to cure the case. He also asked for permission to go to his brother's house. Then Baba said, "Don't go there at this late hour. Send her Udi instead. Why care for the fear and lumps? God is our father and master. She will be all right. Do not go now. Go there in the morning and return immediately." Shama had full faith in Baba's words and Udi. Some Udi was sent with Babaji and was applied to the lumps, and some of it was mixed with water and was given to the patient to drink. As soon as it was ingested, the patient's perspired profusely, the fever abated, and she slept soundly. The next morning, Babaji was surprised to see his wife all right and refreshed with no fever or lumps. When Shama went there the next morning with Baba's permission, he was also surprised to see her at the hearth preparing tea. On asking his brother, he learned that Baba's Udi had cured her completely in one night. Then Shama realized the significance of Baba's words, "Go there in the morning and return immediately." After having some tea, Shama returned and after bowing before Baba said, "Deva, what is this game of yours? You first raise a storm and make us restless and then calm it down and ease up?" Baba replied, You see, mysterious is the path of action. Though I do nothing, they hold me responsible for the actions which take place on account of Adrishta, that is the destiny. I am merely its witness. The Lord is the sole actor and inspiration. He is also most merciful. Neither am I God or the Lord. I am his obedient servant and remember him often. He who casts aside his egoism, thanks God, and trusts him entirely will have his shackles removed and will thus obtain liberation. The Iranian girl. Now, read the experience of an Iranian gentleman. His young daughter suffered from epilepsy and had fits every hour. When the convulsions came, she lost her power of speech, her limbs froze, and she fell down senseless. No remedy gave her any relief. A friend recommended Baba's Udi for her father and asked him to get it from Kaka Sahib Dikshit in Bombay. Then the gentleman got the udi, mixed it with water, gave it to his daughter to drink. In the beginning, the convulsions, which came every hour, only came every 7 hours or so, and after a few days, the daughter recovered completely. The gentleman from Harda. An elderly gentleman from Harda was suffering from a stone in his bladder. Such stones at the time were generally removed by surgical operations, and people recommended that he undergo one. He was old and weak, lacked the strength of mind and body, and could not think of submitting himself to the surgical treatment. His suffering was soon to end in another way. The city officer of that town was a devotee of Baba and always had a supply of udi with him. On the recommendation of some friends, the patient's son got some udi from the city officer, mixed it with water, gave it to his old father to drink. Within 5 minutes, the udi was assimilated. The stone was dissolved. It came out through his urine, and the old man was relieved. The lady from Bombay. A woman from Bombay always suffered terrible pain at the time of childbirth. She was very frightened each time she was pregnant and did not know what to do. Sri Rama Maruti of Kalyan, who was the devotee of Baba, advised her husband to take her to Shirdi for a painless delivery. When she next became pregnant, the couple came to Shirdi, stayed there for a few months, and worshipped Baba and got all the benefits of his company. After some time, the hour of delivery came, and as usual, there was an obstruction in the passage from the womb. She began to suffer labor pains and did not know what to do, but began to pray Baba for relief. In the meantime, a few women from the neighborhood turned up and, after invoking Baba's aid, gave her an odi mixture to drink. In 5 minutes, the women delivered safely and painlessly. The child was stillborn, according to its fate, but the mother, who got rid of the anxiety and pain, thanked Baba for the safe delivery and always remained grateful to him. End of chapter 34. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra, chapter 35. Topics: tested and never found wanting, Kaka Mahajani's friend and boss, the insomnia case, Bala Patil Nivaskar. This chapter also continues the subject of the importance of Udi, and it also gives two cases in which Baba was tested and not found wanting. Preliminary: in spiritual matters or endeavors, sectarianism is the greatest bar to our progress. Those who believe that God is formless are heard saying that to believe that God has a form is an illusion and that saints are merely human. Then why should they bow before the saints and offer dakshina? Persons belonging to other sects will also raise objection and say, why should we bow and offer allegiance to other saints since we have our own Sadgurus? Similar objections regarding Sai Baba have been heard before and are heard even now. Some said that when they went to Shirdi, Baba asked for dakshina from them. Is it good that saints should collect money in this fashion? If they do so, where is the sainthood? They asked. But there are many instances where men went to Shirdi to scoff but remained there to pray. Two such incidents are given below. Kaka Mahajani's friend. A friend of Kaka Mahajani's was a devotee of God without form and was averse to idolatry. Out of curiosity, he agreed to go to Shirdi with Kaka Mahajani on two conditions: that he would neither bow to Baba nor pray him or not pray him or pay him any dakshina. Kaka agreed to these conditions and they left Bombay on a Saturday night and reached Shirdi the next morning. As soon as their feet touched the steps of the masjid, Baba, looking at the friend from a distance, addressed him with sweet words. Oh, welcome, sir. The voice in which he said these words was a very peculiar one. It resembled the voice of the friend's father. It reminded him of his departed father and sent a joyous thrill through his body. What an enchanting power the voice had! Rather surprised, the friend said, this is no doubt the voice of my father. Then he went up and, forgetting his resolution, placed his head upon Baba's feet. Then Baba asked for dakshina from Kaka twice, once in the morning and again at noon. The friend whispered to Kaka, Baba asked for dakshina from you twice. I'm with you. Yet why does he omit me? Why don't you ask Baba himself, was Kaka's reply. Baba asked Kaka what his friend was whispering, and then the friend asked Baba himself whether he should pay any dakshina. Baba replied, you had no mind to pay, so you were not asked. But if you want to pay now, you may. Then the friend paid 17 rupees as dakshina, the same amount that Kaka paid. Baba then addressed him with a few words of advice. You do away with and destroy the wall, the sense of difference between us, so that we can see and meet each other face to face. Then Baba allowed them to depart. Though the weather was cloudy and threatening, Baba assured them of the safe journey and both of them reached Bombay safely. When he reached home and opened the doors and windows of his house, he found two sparrows had fallen dead on the floor and one flew out through a window. He thought that if he had left the windows open, the two sparrows would have been saved, but thought about it again and realized that they had met their fate and that Baba had sent him back soon enough to save the third sparrow. Kaka Mahajani's boss. Kaka was a manager in the firm Thakur Dharmase Jethabai, a solicitor in Bombay. The boss and the manager were close. Mr. Thakur knew that Kaka often went to Shirdi, stayed there for few days, and returned when Baba permitted him to. Out of curiosity and in order to test Baba, Mr. Thakur decided to go to Shirdi with Kaka during the Shimga holidays. As Kaka's return was uncertain, Thakur took another man with him as an associate. The three started together and Kaka bought 2 seers of raisins dry grapes with seeds on the way for Baba. They reached Shirdi in due course and went to the masjid to receive Baba's darshan. Baba Sahib Tharkar was there, and Mr. Thakur asked him why he had come there. To receive darshan? Tharkar replied. Mr. Thakur asked if miracles took place here, and Tharkar replied that to see miracles was not his intention. He said that the earnest intention of the Bhaktas was satisfied here. Then Kaka prostrated himself before Baba and offered the raisins to him. Baba ordered them to be distributed. Mr. Thakur got a few of them. He did not like raisins and he was advised by his doctors not to eat them without washing and cleaning them. So he was in a fix. He did not want to eat them, nor could he reject them. To keep up formalities, he put them into his mouth but did not know what to do with the seeds. He could not spit them out on the floor of the masjid, so he pocketed them against his wishes. He then thought that if Baba was a saint, how could he be ignorant of his dislike for the raisins, and why would he force them on him? When this thought arose in his mind, Baba again gave him some more raisins. He did not want to eat them but held on to them. Then Baba asked him to eat them. He obeyed and found to his surprise that they were all seedless. He wanted to see miracles, and here was one. He knew that Baba had read his thoughts and, as per his wishes, converted raisins with seeds into the seedless ones. What wonderful power! To test Baba further, he asked Tarkar, who was sitting nearby and also had raisins, what kind of grapes have you got? Tharkar replied, the variety with seeds. Mr. Thakur was again surprised to hear this. Then, to confirm his growing faith, Thakur thought that if Baba was a real saint, the raisin should now be given to Kaka first. Reading his thoughts again, Baba ordered that the distribution of raisins should be commenced from Kaka. This proof was sufficient for Thakur. Then Shama introduced Mr. Thakur as Kaka's boss, and upon which Baba said, how could he be Kaka's boss? Kaka has got a different boss altogether. Kaka appreciated this reply. Forgetting his resolve, Thakur bowed before Baba and returned to the Vada. After the noon Aarti was over, they all went to the masjid to take Baba's leave for their departure. Shama spoke for them, and Baba then spoke as follows. There was a fickle-minded gentleman. He had health and wealth and was free from both physical and mental afflictions. But he took on needless anxieties and burdens and wandered here and there, thus losing his peace of mind. Sometimes he dropped these burdens and at other times carried them again. His mind knew no steadiness. Seeing his state, I took pity on him and said, please keep your faith in any one place or point you like. Why roam like this? Stick quietly to one place. Thakur at once recognized that this was an exact description of him. He wished that Kaka would also return with him, but no one expected that Kaka would be allowed to leave Shirdi so soon. Baba read this thought too and permitted Kaka to return with his boss. Thus, Thakur got more proof of Baba's omniscience. Then Baba asked Kaka for 15 rupees as dakshina and received it. Baba then said to Kaka, if I take 1 rupee as dakshina from anybody, I have to return it tenfold to him. I never take anything gratis. I never ask anyone indiscriminately. I only ask and take from him whom the God points out. If anyone is indebted formally to the fakir, money is received from him. The donor gives and sows his seeds. only to reap a rich harvest in the future. Wealth should be the means to work out dharma. If it is used for personal enjoyment, it is wasted. Unless you have given it before, you do not get it now. So, the best way to receive is to give. The giving of dakshina advances vairagya, that is non attachment, and thereby bhakti and gnana. Give one and receive tenfold. On hearing these words, Mr. Thakur gave Baba 15 rupees as dakshina, forgetting his resolve not to do so. He felt he had done well in coming to Shirdi, as all his doubts were solved and had learned so much. Baba's skill in handling such cases was unique, though he did all these things, he was totally detached from them, whether anybody bowed to him or not, or whether anybody gave him dakshina or not. It was the same to him. He never disrespected anyone. He felt no pleasure because he was worshipped and no pain because he was disregarded. He transcended the pairs of opposites, pleasure and pain. The insomnia case. A gentleman from Bandra had been suffering from insomnia for a long time. As soon as he fell asleep, his departed father appeared to him in his dreams and abused and scolded him severely. This broke his sleep and made him restless the whole night. This happened every night, and the man did not know what to do. One day he consulted a devotee of Baba about this. The devotee recommended Udi as the only infallible remedy he knew. He gave him some Udi and asked him to apply a little of it to his forehead before going to bed and to keep a packet of Udi under his pillow. He tried this remedy and found to his great surprise and joy that he could sound sleep and that there was no disturbance of any kind. He continued the remedy and always remembered Sai Baba. Then he bought a picture of Sai Baba, which he hung on the wall near his pillow, and worshipped it daily. On Thursday, he offered a garland and Naivedya. Then he got on well and forgot about all his troubles in the past. Balaji Patil Nivaskar. This man was a great devotee of Baba. He rendered excellent and selfless service to Baba. Every day, swept and cleaned the passages and streets in Shirdi through which Baba passed on his daily routine. After Nivaskar passed away, this work was done equally well by a female devotee named Radha Krishnamai, and after her by a devotee named Abdullah. When Balaji harvested his corn every year, he brought the entire harvest and placed it before Baba. He then returned with what Baba gave him, and his family survived on that amount of corn. This course was followed by him for many years and after him by his son. The power and efficacy of Udi. Once on the day of Balaji's death anniversary, a certain number of guests were invited and dinner was prepared for them. But at dinner time, it was found that thrice the number of people invited had turned up. Mrs. Nevaskar was in a fix. She thought that the food would not suffice for the people assembled and that if it fell short, the honor of the family would be at stake. Her mother-in-law comforted her by saying, "Don't be afraid, it is not ours but Sai's food. Cover every vessel with cloth, put some udi in each and serve from them without removing their covers. Sai will save us from this." She did as she was advised, and it was found to their surprise and joy that not only did the food suffice, but plenty of it remained after serving. If one feels intently, one realizes accordingly, was proved in this case. A story where Sai appeared as a serpent. One day, Raghu Patil of Shirdi went to visit Balaji Patil at Nivase. This that evening, a serpent had entered the cowshed hissing. All the cattle were afraid and began to move around restlessly. The residents of the house were frightened too, but Balaji thought that it was Sai who had appeared in the house as a serpent. Not the least bit afraid, he bought a cup of milk, placed it before the serpent, and said, Baba, why do you hiss and make noise? Do you want to frighten us? Take this cup of milk and drink it with a calm mind. Saying this, he fearlessly sat next to the serpent. The other members of the household were frightened and did not know what to do. A while later, the serpent disappeared and nobody knew where it went. It was not food, though they all searched the cowshed for it. Balaji had two wives and children. They sometimes went to Shirdi from Nivasa to receive Baba's darshan. Then Baba bought saris and other clothes which were given to them with a blessing. End of chapter 35. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra chapter 36. Topics: the wonderful stories of the two gentlemen from Goa and Mrs. Aurangabadkar. The two gentlemen. Two men came from Goa to receive Baba's darshan and prostrated themselves before him. Though both came together, Baba asked only one of them to give him 15 rupees as dakshina, which was paid willingly. The other man voluntarily offered 35 rupees, and this sum was rejected by Baba to everyone's astonishment. Shama, who was present, asked Baba, What is this? Both came together. Once dakshina you accept, the other, though voluntarily paid, you refused. Why this distinction? Baba replied, Shama, you know nothing. I take nothing from anybody. The Masjid Mai, the presiding deity of Masjid, calls for the debt and the donor pays it and becomes free. Have I any home, property, or family to look after? I require nothing and am always free. Debt, enmity, and murder have to be atoned for. There is no escaping them. Baba then continued to tell a story in this characteristic way. At first, he was poor and owed to his God that he would give away his first month's salary if he got hired. He got a job which paid 15 rupees per month. Then he steadily got promotions. He later earned rupees 30, 60, 100, 200 and ultimately 700 per month. But amidst his prosperity, he completely forgot the owe. The force of his karma was driven him here, and thus I asked for the amount of 15 rupees from him as dakshina. Another story. While wandering by the seaside, I came to a huge mansion and sat on its veranda. The owner was hospitable and fed me sumptuously. He gave me a neat and clean place near a cupboard to sleep, and I slept there. While I was sound asleep, the man removed a slab and broke the wall, entered my room, and stole all the money in my pocket. When I woke up, I found that 30,000 rupees had been stolen from my pocket. It was very distressed and sat weeping and mourning. The money was in currency notes, and I knew the man had stolen it. I lost all interest in food and sat for a fortnight on the veranda, bemoaning my loss. After a fortnight, a passing fakir saw me crying and asked me why I was crying. I told him everything. He said, If you act according to what I tell you, you will recover your money. Go to a fakir, I shall give you his whereabouts. Surrender yourself to him. He will get your money back. In the meanwhile, give up your favorite food till you recover your money. I followed the fakir's advice and got my money back. Then I left the mansion and went to the seashore. I found a steamer that was ready to leave, but I could not get into it as it was crowded. Then a good natured peon interceded for me, and I was luckily able to board it. That brought me to another shore where I boarded a train and came to the Masjid Mai. Baba finished telling the story and asked Shama to take the guests and arrange for the meals. Then Shama took them home and served them dinner. At dinner, Shama said that Baba's story was rather mysterious, as he had never been to the sea, never had any money, never traveled, never lost any money or recovered it, and inquired whether they had understood it and caught its significance. The guests were deeply moved and were shedding tears. In a choking voice, they said that Baba was the omniscient, infinite, and Parabrahma. They said that the stories he told were their stories. What he spoke had already taken place in their case. How Baba knew all this was truly divine. Then, after the meal, while they were chewing betel leaves, the guests began to tell their stories. The first one said, "A hill station on the Ghats is my native place. I went to Goa to earn a living, and I took a vow to God Datta that if I got a job, I would offer him my first month's salary. By his grace, I got a job that paid 15 rupees and then steadily got promotion as described by Baba. I forgot all about my O. Baba has just reminded me of it in this way and recovered 15 rupees from me. It is not dakshina as one may think it to be, but repayment of an old debt and fulfillment of a long forgotten oath." Baba never actually begged for any money or allowed his bhaktas to beg. He regarded money as a danger or bar to spiritual progress and did not allow his bhaktas to fall into its clutches. Malsapati is an example of this. He was very poor and could hardly make both ends meet. Yet Baba never allowed him to make any money, nor gave him anything from the dakshina collected. Once, a kind and a liberal merchant named Hansraj gave a large amount of money to Malsapati in Baba's presence, but Baba would not allow him to accept it. Then the second guest began his tale. "My cook had been working for me faithfully for 35 years. Unfortunately, he fell into bad ways. His mind changed and he robbed me of my wealth. By removing a slab from the wall of my cupboard, he came in while we were all asleep and stole all my accumulated wealth, 30,000 rupees in currency notes. I do not know how Baba knew the exact amount. I sat crying day and night. My inquiries came to nothing, and I spent a fortnight in great anxiety. As I sat on the veranda, sad and dejected, a passing fakir saw my conditions and inquired of its cause. I told him all about it. He told me that a great saint named Sai lives in Shirdi. Make your oath to him and give up any food that you like best, and tell him that I have given up eating that food till I receive your darshan. He said, then I took the oath and gave up eating rice and said, Baba, I will eat it after recovering my property and after receiving your darshan. 15 days after this, my cook of his own accord came to me, returned my money, and apologized, saying, I went mad and acted thus. I now place my head at your feet. Please forgive me. Thus everything ended well. The fakir that met and helped me was not seen again. An intense desire to see Sai Baba arose. I thought that the fakir who came all the way to my house was no other than Sai Baba himself. Would he who saw me and helped me to get my lost money ever covet 35 rupees? On the contrary, without expecting anything from us, he always tries his best to lead us on the path of spiritual progress. I was I was overjoyed when I recovered my stolen property and thus began infatuated, forgot all about my O. Then, when I was at Kolaba One night I saw Sai Baba in my dreams. This reminded me of my promised visit to Shirdi. I went to Goa and from there wanted to leave to Shirdi by making a steamer to Bombay. But when I came to the harbour, I found that the steamer was crowded and there was no space in it. The captain would not allow me to board, but on the intercession of a peon who was a stranger to me, I was allowed to board the steamer which brought me to Bombay. From there, I got in train and came here. I definitely think Baba's all pervading and omniscient. Who are we and where is our home? Great indeed is our good fortune that Baba helped us get our money back and drew us here to him. You Shidi folk must be infinitely superior and more fortunate than us, for Baba has played, laughed, talked, and lived with you for so many years. I think that your store of merits must be infinite, for it attracted Baba to Shirdi. Saiza Datta, he ordered the woe, gave me a seat in the steamer, and brought me here, and thus gave proof of his omniscience and omnipotence. The second topic is Mrs. Aurangabadkar, a lady from Sholapur. Mrs. Aurangabadkar had no children in 27 years of married life. She had made a number of vows to gods and goddesses for a child but was not successful. She then felt almost hopeless. As a last attempt in the matter, she came to Shirdi with a stepson and stayed there for 2 months and served Baba with devotion. Whenever she went to the masjid, she found Baba surrounded by devotees. She wanted to see Baba alone, fall at his feet, and pray that she may have a child, but she was unable to find a suitable opportunity to speak to Baba. Ultimately, she requested Shama to intercede with Baba when he was alone. Shama said to her that though Baba's darbar was open, he would try for her and that the Lord might bless her. He asked her to wait with a coconut and incense in the open courtyard when Baba was having his meals, and when he beckoned her, she should come up. One day after dinner, Shama was wiping Baba's wet hands with a towel when the latter pinched Shama's cheek. Shama, feigning anger, said, Deva, is it proper for you to pinch me like this? We don't want such a mischievous God who pinches us like this. Are we your dependents? Is this the fruit of our devotion? Baba replied, Oh Shama, during the 72 generations that you were with me, I have never pinched you till now, and now you resent my touching you? Shama, we want a God that will always give us kisses and sweets to eat, and we do not want any respect from you. Let our faith unto your feet always be strong, Baba. Yes, I have indeed come for that and have been feeding and nursing you and have lots of love and affection for you. Then Baba went and sat down. Shama beckoned the lady. She came up, bowed, and presented the coconut and incense sticks. Baba shook the coconut, which was dry. The kernel within it rolled and made a noise. Baba said, Shama, this is rolling. See what it says, Shama. The woman prays that a child might similarly roll and grow in her womb. Please give her the coconut with your blessings. Baba, will the coconut give her a child? It's so foolish that people fancy such things. Shama, I know the power of your words and blessings. Your words will give her strength. You're wrangling and not giving real blessings. The parley went on for a while, Baba repeatedly ordering to come break the coconut and Shama pleading for the gift of the unbroken fruit for the lady. Finally, Baba yielded and said she will have a child. When asked Shama, in 12 months was the reply. The coconut was therefore broken in two parts. One was eaten by two and the other was given to the lady. Then Shama turned to the lady and said, Madam, you are a witness to my words. If within 12 months you do not have a child, I will break a coconut against this Deva's head and drive him out of this masjid. If I fail in this, I will not call myself mother. You will soon realize what I say. A year later, she gave birth to a boy, and the son was brought to Baba in his fifth month. Both husband and wife prostrated themselves before Baba, and grateful father, Mr. Aurangabadkar, paid a sum of rupees 500, which was spent in constructing a shield for Baba's horse, Shamakarna. End of chapter 36. Om Sai Ram. Om Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra chapter 37. Topics. Hemad Pant describes the Chavadi procession. Preliminary. Blessed is Sai's life and his daily routine. His ways and actions are indescribable. At times, he was intoxicated with Brahmanand, that is the divine joy, and at other times content with knowledge of the self. Despite doing so many things, he was not concerned with them at all. Though he seemed at times physically motionless, he was not idle or asleep. He always abided in his own self. Though he looked as calm and quiet as the placid sea, he was deep and unfathomable. Who can describe his ineffable nature? He regarded men as brothers and women as sisters and mothers. He was a perfect and perpetual celibate. May the knowledge we got through his acquaintance last us unto our death. Let us always serve him with wholehearted devotion to his feet. Let us see him in all beings, and let us always love his name. Hemad Pant, after making some lengthy dissertations on some topics in the Vedanta, which he himself considers a digression, goes on to describe the Chavadi procession. The Chavadi procession. Baba's dormitory has already been described. Every alternate day, he slept in the Chavdi, a small building containing a room or two near the masjid. This alternate sleeping routine in both these buildings continued till Baba's Mahasamadhi. From the 10th of December 1909, devotees began to worship Baba in the Chavdi. We will now describe this with his grace. When it was night that Baba would be spending in the Chavdi, people flocked to the masjid and sang bhajans in the courtyard of the masjid for a few hours. Behind them was a beautiful ratha, that is a small horse-drawn cart. To the right, a tulsi vrindavan, that is a decorative structure with a tulsi plant in it, and in front of Baba. Devotees who were fond of singing devotional songs. Some played on various musical instruments while singing. Sai Baba was the magnet who drew all the devotees to him. Outside the courtyard, some held their torches, some decorated the palanquin, while others stood with canes in their hands and shouted out cries of victory to Baba. The corners of the masjid were decorated with buntings. All around the masjid, rows of burning lamps shed their light. Baba's horse, Shamakarna, stood fully decorated outside. Then Tatya Patil came with a party of men to Baba and asked him to be ready. Baba sat quietly in his place till Tatya came and helped him to get up by putting his arm under Baba's armpit. Tatya called Baba Mama, the maternal uncle. In reality, their relationship was extremely close. Baba wore the usual kafni, that is the long robe, placed his short stick under his armpit, and after picking up his tobacco pipe and tobacco and placing a cloth over his shoulder, was ready to start. Then Tatya draped Baba in a beautiful golden embroidered shawl. After this, Baba moved the bundle of firewood lying behind him with his right toe. And then, after extinguishing the burning lamp with his right hand, started for the chavdi. Then all sorts of musical instruments played and fireworks exhibited their different colors and sounds. Men and women singing Baba's name started walking and singing bhajans to the accompaniment of musical instruments. Some danced with joy and some carried various flags. Men announced Baba's name when he stood on the steps of the masjid. To either side of Baba stood persons who fanned Baba with large hat fans. The path on which Baba walked was covered with layers of cloth. Tatya held his left hand and Malsapati the right, while Bapu Sahib Jog held a decorative umbrella over his head. In this fashion, Baba marched on to the Chavdi. The fully decorated horse, Shamakarna, led the way, and behind him were all the carriers, waiters, musicians, and the crowd of devotees. Harinama, chanted to the accompaniment of music, filled the skies as also did this name of Sai. In this manner, the procession reached the corner when all the persons that joined the party seemed pleased and delighted. On reaching the corner, Baba stood facing the Chavdi and shone with a peculiar luster. It seemed as if Baba's face glittered like dawn or like the glory of the rising sun. Baba stood there with a concentrated mind facing the north as if he was calling somebody. All the instruments played the music while Baba moved his right arm up and down for some time. Kaka Sahib Dikshit then came forward with a silver plate containing flowers besmeared with gulal, that is the red powder, and showered them on Baba's body. The musical instruments played their best at this juncture, and Baba's face beamed with steady and added radiance and beauty. Everyone present drank this luster to their heart's content. Words fail to describe the scene and splendor of this occasion. Sometimes Malsapati would begin to dance possessed by some deity, but everyone was rather surprised to see that despite this sudden distraction, Baba's concentration was not in the least bit disturbed. With a lantern in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left side and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding with his hand the hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession and what an expression of devotion! To witness this, men and women, poor and rich, flocked to the masjid. Baba walked very slowly. The devotees followed on both the sides with love and devotion. With joy pervading the atmosphere, the procession reached the Chavdi. That scene and those days are gone now. Nobody can see them now or in the future, but by remembering and visualizing the scene, we can bring solace and comfort to our mind. The Chavdi was also fully decorated with the white ceiling mirrors and many types of lamps. On reaching it, Tatya went ahead and placed a parrot seat with a bluster on it and asked Baba to sit on it. He also gave Baba a good coat to wear. Then the devotees worshipped him in various ways. They placed a crown with a tuft on his head, placed garlands of flowers and jewels around his neck, and marking his forehead with musk mixed vertical lines and a dot, as Vaishnava devotees do. They stared at him for a long time to their heart's content. They changed his headdress now, then, and held it aloft on his head, fearing that Baba might throw it away. Baba knew the hearts of them all and meekly submitted to all their methods without objection. With these decorations, he looked wonderfully beautiful. Nana Sahib Nimonkar held the chatra, that is the umbrella with its beautiful pendants. Bapu Sahib Jog washed Baba's feet in a silver dish and offered arghya and worship with due formalities. He then besmeared Baba's arms with sandal paste and offered Baba betel leaves. Baba sat, and Tatya and others kept alternately standing and falling at his feet. When Baba sat, supporting himself against the bluster, devotees on both the sides waved fans. Shama then prepared the chilim, that is the pipe, and handed over it to Tatya, who drew a flame out of it and then gave it to Baba. After Baba had a smoke, it was given to Bhagat Mal Sapati and then it was passed around to everyone. Blessed was the inanimate chilim, for it first had to undergo many ordeals of penance, such as being treated by pot makers, dried in the open sun and baked in the kiln, and then it had the good fortune of the divine touch of Baba's hands and his kiss. After the ceremony was over, devotees put garlands around his neck and gave him bunches of flowers to smell. Baba, who was dispassion or non attachment incarnate, did not care much for all these necklaces of jewels, garlands of flowers, and other ornaments, but out of real love for his devotees, he allowed them to have their own way. Finally, Bapu Sahib Jog waved the arati over the Baba, observing all due formalities, while the musical instruments played their auspicious tunes. When this arti was over, the devotees returned home after bowing to Baba and taking his leave. When Tatya Patil, after offering Chilim Atar a scent and rose water, was about to leave, Baba said to him lovingly, "Guard me, go if you like, but return sometimes at night and enquire after me." Replying in the affirmative, Tatya left the chavdi and went home. Then Baba himself prepared his bed. He spread out 50 or 60 white sheets, one upon the other, and thus making his bed, went to sleep. We shall all now rest and close this chapter with a request to the readers that they should remember Sai Baba and the Chavdi procession daily before they retire and go to bed. End of chapter 37. Om Sai Ram, Om Satchidananda Sadguru, Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually, Sai Satcharitra chapter 38. Topics: Baba's Handi, disrespect of a shrine, Kala or hodgepodge, Hemat Pant's cup of buttermilk. Preliminary. Oh, blessed Sadguru Sai, we bow to you. You have given happiness to the world, safeguarded the welfare of your devotees, and have destroyed the afflictions of those who have resorted to your feet. You are very liberal and the protector and savior of devotees who surrender themselves to you. You incarnate yourself in this world to oblige people and to do them good. The liquid essence of the pure self was poured into the mold of Brahma, and out of this has come the crest jewel of the saints, Sai. This Sai is Atma Rama himself. He is the abode of perfect divine bliss. Having himself attained all the objects of life, he made his devotees desireless and free. Baba's Handi, different sadhanas, are prescribed in our scriptures for different ages. Tapa is recommended for the Kreta age, Gnana, that is knowledge, for the Treta age, Yagna, that is sacrifice, for the Dwapara age, and Dana, that is charity, for the Kali, that is the current age. Of all the forms of charity, giving food is the best. We are very perturbed when we have no food and are hungry. Other beings feel similarly under similar circumstances. Thus, he who gives food to the poor and hungry is in fact the best donor. The Taittiriya Upanishad says that food is Brahma. From food, all creatures are born. By food, they live. And having departed into food, they again enter. When an uninvited guest comes to your door at noon, it is our bounden duty to welcome him by giving him food. Other kinds of charity, giving away wealth, property, and clothes, require some discrimination. But in the matter of food, no such consideration is necessary. Let anybody come to our door at noon, he should be served forthwith, and if lame, crippled, blind, and diseased paupers come, they should be fed before the able bodied. Other kinds of charity are imperfect without the giving of food. Just as stars are without the moon, a necklace is without its central pendant, or singing is without a sweet voice. The giving of food is thus the best form of charity. It has been stated before that Baba required very little food for himself, and what little he needed was obtained by begging from a few houses. But when he decided to distribute food to everyone, he made all the preparation from beginning to the end all by himself. He did not depend on anybody and did not trouble anyone in this matter. First, he went to the bazaar and bought all the things he needed: corn, flour, spices, etc. He also did the grinding himself. In the open courtyard of the masjid, he arranged a big hearth and, after lighting a fire in it, placed a handi. Handi is nothing but a cooking pot over it with a proper measure of water. There were two kinds of handi, one small and the other one was big. The former provided food for 50 people, while the latter could serve to a people of 100. Sometimes he cooked meate chawal, that is sweet rice, and at other times pulao with meat. At times in the boiling varan, that is the soup, he added small balls of thick or flat breads of wheat flour. He pounded the spices on a stone slab and put the thin pulverized spices into the cooking pot. He took all the pains possible to make the dishes very palatable. He prepared ambil by boiling jawari flour in water, mixing it with buttermilk. He served this ambil with the food to everyone. To see whether the food was properly cooked or not, Baba rolled up the sleeves of his kafni and put his bare arm in the boiling cauldron without the least fear and stirred the whole pot of food. There was no burning marks on his arm or fear on his face. When the cooking was complete, Baba got the pots in the masjid duly consecrated by the priest. First, he sent some of the food to Prasad to Malsapati and Tatya Patil, and then he served the remaining contents with his own hands to all the poor and helpless people or the heart's content. Blessed and fortunate indeed were those people who got food prepared by Baba and served by him. Somebody may raise a doubt here and ask, did Baba distribute vegetarian and non vegetarian food as prasad to all his devotees? The answer is plain and simple. Those who were non vegetarian or those who were liked the non vegetarian food were given food from the handi as prasad, and those who were not accustomed were not allowed to touch it. He never created in them any wish of desire to indulge in this food. There is a simple principle that when a guru himself gives anything as prasad, the disciple who doubts whether it is acceptable goes to perdition. In order to see how any disciple has imbibed this principle, Baba at times proposed test. For instance, on an Ekadashi day, he gave Dada Kelkar a few rupees, asked him to go in person to Korhala to buy mutton. Dada Kelkar was an orthodox Brahmin and maintained all orthodox conventions in his life. He knew that offering wealth, grain, and clothes to a Sadguru was not enough. He knew the implicit obedience to and prompt compliance with Baba's orders was the real dakshina that pleased him the most. So, Dada Kelkar dressed himself and started for the place. Then Baba called him back and said, "Don't go yourself. Send somebody instead." Then Dada decided to send his servant Pandu for the purpose. Seeing him out to leave, Baba asked Dada to call him back and cancel that program altogether. On another occasion, Baba asked Dada to see how salty the pulao, that is the mutton dish, was. The latter said rather formally that it was all right. Then Baba said to him, "Neither have you seen it with your eyes or tasted it with your tongue, then how could you say that it was good? Just take off the lid and see." Saying this, Baba caught hold of his arm and thrust it into the pot and added, "Draw out your arm and put some quantity in the dish without caring for your orthodoxy and without blustering." When a wave of real love rises in a mother mind, she pinches her child, and when it begins to cry, she holds the child close to her bosom. Similarly, Baba, in a truly mother way, pinched Dada Kelkar. In reality, no saint or guru will ever force his orthodox disciple to eat forbidden food and defile himself thereby. The handi business went on till 1910 and was stopped thereafter. As stated before, Das Ganu spread the fame of Baba by his kirtanas in the Bombay Residency, and people from other parts of the country began to flock to Shirdi. Shirdi soon became a place of pilgrimage. The devotees brought with them various dishes for Baba as Naivedya. The quantity of Naivedya offered by them was so much that the fakirs and the paupers could feed themselves to their heart's content, even leaving some extra food behind. Before stating how Naivedya was distributed, we shall refer to Nana Sahib Chandorkar's story showing Baba's regard and respect for local shrines and deities. Nana Sahib's disrespect of a shrine. By drawing inferences of or guessing, some people believed that Sai was Hindu, while some people believed that he was a Muslim. In fact, he belonged to no single caste or religion. No one knew exactly where he was born, to what community he was born into, or who his parents were. Then how could he be a Muslim or a Hindu? If he were a Muslim, how could he keep the dhuni, sacred fire, always burning in the masjid? How could there be a Tulsi Vrindavan near Shirdi, or Vrindavan in Shirdi? How could he allow the blowing of conch shell and the ringing bells? And how could he allow the playing of musical instrument and the different forms of Hindu worship in the masjid? Had he been a Muslim, would he have pierced ears and would have spent money from his pocket to repair Hindu temple? On the contrary, he never tolerated the slightest disrespect to Hindu shrines and deities. Once Nana Sahib Chandorkar came to Shirdi with the husband of a sister-in-law, Mr. Biniwale. When they went to the masjid and sat before Baba talking, the latter suddenly got angry with Nana Sahib and said, "You have been in my company so long, and then how could you behave like this?" Nana Sahib at first did not understand anything and humbly requested Baba to explain. Ba- Baba asked him how he had traveled to Kopargaon and then came to Shirdi from there. Nana Sahib at once realized his mistake. He usually worshipped the shrine of Datta on the banks of the Godavari at Kopargaon on his way to Shirdi, but this time he dissuaded his relative, who was a Datta devotee, from receiving darshan at that shrine to avoid delay and drove straight to Shirdi. He confessed all this to Baba and told him that while bathing in the Godavari, a big thorn had gone into his foot and had given him a lot of trouble. Baba said that this was the smallest punishment he could get and want him to be more careful in the future. Kala. After the aarti was over and after Baba sent everyone away with udi and blessings, he went inside and sat with his back to the wall among two rows of devotees, one on each side. The bhaktas who brought Naivedya waited with their dishes such as puris, mande, polis, basundi, and sanza for prasad consecrated by Baba. All the food was mixed in a hodgepodge and placed before Baba. He offered it to all to God and consecrated it. Then portion of the same were given to the persons waiting outside, and the rest was served to the people inside. The devotees then dined to their heads' content. Baba asked Shama and Nana Sahib Nimonkar to serve the consecrated food to everyone sitting inside and look to their individual needs and comforts. This they did very carefully and willingly. Every morsel of the food thus partaken gave the devotees nutrition and satisfaction. It was truly sweet, lovely, and divine food. A cup of buttermilk. Once Hemant Pant had eaten his full in this company when Baba offered him a cup of buttermilk. Its white appearance pleased him, but he was afraid that there was no space inside for it. Nevertheless, he took a sip, which proved very tasty. Baba saw his hesitation and said, "Drink it all. You won't get such an opportunity again." He drank it and found that Baba's words were prophetic, for he passed away soon. Dear readers, we certainly have to thank Hemant Pant, for he drank the cup of buttermilk and supplied us with a sufficient quantity of nectar in the form of Baba's Leelas. Let us drink cups and cups of this nectar and be satisfied and happy. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 39. Topics: Baba's knowledge of Sanskrit, his interpretation of a verse from the Gita, and the construction of the Samadhi Mandir. Some believed that Baba did not know Sanskrit, and Hemant Pant wrote another chapter, that is chapter 50, refuting that notion. As that chapter deals with the same subject matter, it is incorporated into this chapter. Preliminary: blessed is Shirdi, blessed is the Dwarka Mai, where Sri Sai lived. And blessed are the people of Shirdi whom he obliged and for whom he travelled such a long distance. Shirdi was a small village at first, but it attained great importance on account of his contact and became a tirtha, a holy place of pilgrimage. Equally blessed are the womenfolk of Shirdi. Blessed is their whole and undivided faith in him. They sang the glories of Baba while bathing, grinding, pounding corn, and doing other household work. Blessed is their love, for they sang sweet songs which calm and pacify the minds of the singers and the listeners. Baba's interpretation. Nobody believed that Baba knew Sanskrit. One day he surprised everyone by providing a good interpretation of a verse from the Gita to Nana Sahib Chandorkar. A brief account about this matter was written by Mr. B.V. Dew, retired Mamaldar, and published in Marathi in the Sri Sai Leela magazine. Short accounts of the same were also published in Sai Baba's Charters and Saying and in the Wondrous Saint Sai Baba, both by B.V. Narasimha Swami. Mr. B.V. has also written an English version of this in the In his statement dated 27 September 1936, as Mr. BV had first hand information about this matter from Nana Sahib himself, his version is given below. Nana Sahib Chandurkar was an avid student of Vedanta. He had read the Gita with its commentaries and prided himself on his knowledge in that domain. He fancied that Baba knew nothing of all this or of the Sanskrit language, so Baba one day pricked that bubble. These were the days before crowds flocked to Shirdi, when Baba had solitary talks at the masjid with a very few devotees. Nana was sitting near Baba and was massaging his legs and mumbling something to himself. The conversation is Baba. Baba said, Nana, what are you mumbling to yourself? Then Nana said, I am reciting a verse in Sanskrit. Baba, what verse? Nana, it's from the Bhagavad Gita. Baba, say it out loud. Nana then recited, which is as follows: Tadvitti pranipatena परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपद्यक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञाननिष्ठद्वदर्शिना. Then Baba said, Nana, do you understand it? Nana said yes. Baba, if you do, then tell me what it means. Nana, it means by Sashtanga Namaskar, questioning the Guru, and by serving him, learn that Gnana is. Then those Gnanis who have attained the real knowledge of the Sadvastu will give you Upadesha, that is the instructions about Gnana. Then Baba said, Nana, I do not want this sort of summary of the whole stanza. Give me one word, its grammatical force and meaning. Then Baba made Nana explain it word by word. Then Baba said, Nana, is it enough to merely prostrate? Nana, I do not know any other meaning of the word pranipata other than prostrating. Baba, what is pariprashna? Nana, asking question. What does prashna mean? The same thing, said Nana. Baba, if pariprashna means the same as prashna, why did Vyasa add the prefix pari? Was Vyasa out of mind? Then Nana said, I do not know of any other meaning for this word. Then Baba, seva, what kind of seva is being referred to? Nana said, service, the kind we always do. Then Baba, is it enough to just render such service? Then Baba said, I do not know what more is signified by the word seva. Then Baba said, in the next line, Upadyakshanti te gnanam. Can you replace the word gnanam with any other word? Nana said, yes. Baba, what word? Nana, agnanam. Baba, using that word instead of gnanam, can any meaning be made out of the verse? Nana, no, the rules of the language give no such construction. Then Baba said, never mind, if it does not, is there any objection to use the word agnana if it is gives the better sense? Nana, I do not understand how to interpret it. Then Baba said, why does Krishna ask Arjuna to see Gnanis or Tattvadarshis and to prostrate before them and serve them? Was not Krishna a Tattvadarshi, in fact, a Gnani himself? Then Nana said, yes, he was, but I cannot understand why he referred Arjuna to the Gnanis. Baba, have you not understood this? Nana was humiliated. His pride was knocked on the head. Then Baba began to explain. It is not merely enough to prostrate before Gnani. We must surrender before them completely. Sarvasva Sharanagati. Second, Mere questioning is not enough. The question must not be asked with any improper motive to trap the guru and catch mistakes in his answer or out of idle curiosity. It must be serious and with the objective of achieving moksha or the spiritual progress. Third one, seva is not rendering service, retaining still the feeling that one is free to offer or refuse service. One must feel that he is not the master of the body and that the body is the guru's and exists merely to render service to him. If this is done, the Sadguru will show you what Gnana is. Nana did not understand what was meant by saying that the Guru teaches. Baba, how was Gnana Upadesh, imparting of realization to be affected? Destroying ignorance is Gnana. A verse of the Gnaneshwari commenting on the Gita says, is there anything in Gnana besides destruction of ignorance? Expelling darkness means light. Destroying duality, Dvaita, means non duality, Advaita. Whenever we speak of destroying Dvaita, we speak of Advaita. Whenever we talk of destroying darkness, we talk of light. If we have to realize the Advaita state, the feeling of Dvaita in ourself has to be removed. This is the realization of the Advaita state. The disciple, like the Sadguru, is really the embodiment of Gnana. The difference between the two lies in the attitude, realization, and divine manifestation. The Sadguru is Nirguna, Satchit Ananda. He has taken a human form to elevate mankind and raise the world. But his real Nirguna nature is not affected even a bit through this process. His state of being or reality, divine power, and wisdom remain undiminished. The disciple also is in fact the same, but the disciple's soul is overlaid by the effect of the samaskaras of innumerable births in the shape of ignorance about the fact that he is in fact Shuddha Chaitanya. As stated herein, he gets the impression, I am the Jiva, a creature, humble and poor. The Guru has to root out these offshoots of ignorance and has to give upadesha or instructions to the disciple held spellbound for endless generation by the ideas of his being a creature humble and pure. The Guru imparts in hundreds of births the teaching, your God, mighty and opulent. Then he realizes a bit that he is God in reality, the perpetual delusion under which the disciple is laboring, that he is the body, that he is a creature, and that God, that is Paramatma, and the world are different from him, is an error inherited from innumerable past births. From actions based on it, he has derived his joy, sorrows, and mixtures of both. To remove the delusion, this error, this root ignorance, he must start the inquiry. How did such ignorance arise? Where is it? And to show him that this is called the Guru's Upadesha. The following are the instances. First one is I am a Jiva, that is the creature. Second, the body is the soul. I am the body. Third, God, the world and the Jiva are different. 4. I am not God. 5. Not knowing that the body is not the soul. 6. Not knowing that God, the word and the Jiva are one. Unless these errors are exposed, the disciples cannot know what God, the Jiva, the world, and the body are and how they are interrelated. To teach him these and destroy his ignorance is this instructions in Gnana or Agnana. Why should Gnana be imparted to the Jiva who is a Gnana Murti? Upadesh is merely to show him his error and destroy his ignorance. Baba then added, Pranipada implies surrender. Surrender must be of the body, mind, and wealth. Why should Krishna refer Arjuna to other Gnanis? Sadbhakta takes everything to be Vasudev. Any guru will be Krishna to the devotee. And the Guru takes the disciple to the Vasudev, and Krishna treats both as his prana and atma. As Krishna knows that there are such bhaktas and gurus, he refers Arjuna to them so that their greatness may increase and be known. Let's know the story of the construction of the Samadhi Mandir. Baba never made a fuss about the things he wanted to accomplish. Rather, he skillfully arranged his circumstances and surroundings such that people were surprised at the slow but sure results attained. The construction of the Samadhi Mandir is an instance in the point. Shriman Bapu Saheb Bhuti, the famous multimillionaire from Nagpur, lived in Shirdi with the family. Once an idea arose in his mind and that he should have a building of his own there. Shortly after this, while he was sleeping in Dikshit's Vada, he had a vision. Baba appeared in his dreams and ordered him to build a Vada. Vada is a mansion of his own with a temple attached. Shama, who was also sleeping there, had a similar vision. When Bapu Sahib woke up, he saw Shama crying and asked him why he was crying. The latter replied that in his vision Baba came to him and ordered him distinctly, build the Vada with the temple. I shall fulfill everyone's desire. Hearing these sweet and loving words, I was overpowered with emotions. My throat was choked, my eyes were overflowing with tears, and I began to cry. Bapu Sahib was surprised to learn that both their visions were identical. Being a rich and capable man, he decided to build Vada there and drew up a plan with Madhav Rao, Shama. Kaka Sahib Dikshit also approved of it. And when it was placed before Baba, he also sanctioned it immediately. Then the construction was started, and under Shama's supervision, the ground floor, the cellar, and the well were completely completed. Baba, on his way to and from the Lendi, also suggested certain improvements and changes. Further work was entrusted to Bapu Sahib Jog, and as the building began to take shape, an idea struck Bapu Sahib Bhuti. He felt that the building should have an open room or platform, and that in the theatre of the room, the image of Lord Krishna with the flute should be installed. He asked Shama to refer this matter to Baba and he get his consent. The latter asked Baba about this when he was passing by the Vada. Baba gave his consent, saying, after the temple is complete, I'll come there to stay. And staring in at the Vada, he added, after the Vada is complete, we shall use it ourselves. We shall live, move, play, embrace each other, and be very happy. Then Shama asked Baba whether this was an auspicious time to begin work on the foundation of the central room of the shrine. Baba answered in the affirmative. Shama got a coconut broken and started his work. In due course, the work was completed and an order was also given to paint a large image of Lord Krishna. But before it was ready, there was a new development. Baba became seriously ill and was about to pass away. Bapu Sahib was very sad and dejected and thought that if Baba passed away, this Vada would not be consecrated by the holy touch of Baba's feet. Thus, all the money spent would be wasted. But the words, place me in the Vada, which came out of Baba's mouth just before his passing away, consoled everyone. In due course, Baba's holy body was placed and preserved in the central shrine designed for Lord Krishna, and the Vada thus became the Samadhi Mandir of Sai Baba. Thus, Baba became Lord Krishna. His wonderful life is unfathomable. Blessed and fortunate indeed is Bapu Sahib Bhuti, in whose Vada lies the holy and pure body of Baba. End of chapter 39. Om Sai Ram. Om Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Living Spiritually. Sai Satcharitra chapter 40 topics attending Mrs. Dio's Udyapan ceremony as a sannyasi with two others and visiting Hemad Pant's house in the form of a picture. Preliminary. Bless the Sri Sai Samarth who gives his devotees instructions in both temporal and spiritual matters and makes them happy by enabling them to achieve the goal of their life. When Baba places his hands on their heads, he transfers his powers to them and thus destroys the sense of differentiation and makes them attain that unattainable thing. He embraces devotees who prostrate themselves before him with no sense of duality or difference. He becomes one with devotees, the way the rivers merge with sea and gives them his power and position. Mrs. Dio's Udyapan ceremony. Mr. B.V. Dio was a mamaldar in Dahanu. It's a town in Thane district. His mother had observed 25 or 30 different oaths and an Udyapan ceremony was to be performed. This ceremony included the feeding of about 200 Brahmins. Mr. Dio set a date for the ceremony and wrote a letter to Bapu Sahib Jog, asked him to request Sai Baba to attend the ceremony. He wrote that without Baba's attendance, the ceremony would not be duly completed. Bapu Sahib Jog read Baba the letter. Baba carefully noted the pure-hearted invitation and said, I always think of him who remembers me. I require no conveyance, carriage, train or aeroplane. I run and manifest myself to anyone who lovingly call me. Write him a reply that three of us, you, me and a third person, will attend. Mr. Jog informed Dio of what Baba said. The latter was very pleased, but he knew that Baba never went to any place except Rahata, Rui and Neemgaon in person. He also knew that nothing was impossible for Baba, as he was all pervading and that he might suddenly come in any form he likes and fulfill his promise. A few days before the Udyapan, a sannyasi, professing to work for the cause of the protection of cows, came to the station master at the Hanu to collect subscriptions. The latter told him to go into town and see the Mamaldar, that is Mr. Dio, and with his help collect funds. Just then the Mamaldar happened to come there. The station master introduced the sannyasi to him, and Mr. Dio and the sannyasi then sat and talked on the station platform. Mr. Dio told him that a donation list for some other charitable cause had already been started by another prominent citizen, and thus it would not be appropriate to start another donation list right away. He told the sannyasi that it would be better if he came back after a few months. The sannyasi left, promising to return. On the day of the ceremony, the sannyasi came in a tanga that stopped in front of Mr. Dio's house at about 10 a.m. Dio thought that he had come to discuss the donation. Seeing him busy with the preparation for the ceremony, the sannyasi said that he had not come for money but for meals. Dio said, All right, we are very glad and you're welcome. The house is yours. The sannyasi then said, There are two lads with me. Dio, please bring them too, as there were still 2 hours till lunch. Dio inquired where he should send for them. The sannyasi said that it was not necessary, as they would come at the appointed time. Dio asked him to come at noon. Exactly at noon, the trio arrived, had their meals and left. After the ceremony was over, Dio wrote a letter to Bapu Sahib Jog complaining of Baba's breach of promise. Jog went to Baba with the letter, but before it was opened, Baba spoke. He says that I promised to come but deceived him. Inform him that I did attend a ceremony with two others but he failed to recognize me. Then why did he invite me in the first place? Tell him that he thought that the sannyasi had come to ask for subscription money. Did I not clear his doubts in that respect? And did I not say that I would come with two others? And did not the trio come on time and have their meals? See, to keep my word, I would even sacrifice my life. I would never be untrue to my words. Thus replied gladdened Joke's heart, and he communicated Baba's entire reply to Dio. As soon as Dio read it, he burst into tears of joy, but he took himself to task mentally for vainly blaming Baba. He wondered how he was deceived by the sannyasi's prior visit and his coming to him for donations, and how he also failed to catch the significance of the sannyasi's words that he would come with two other for meals. This story clearly shows that when devotees surrender themselves completely to the Sadguru, he sees that the religious ceremonies in their house are duly executed and completed with all the necessary formalities. Visiting Hemad Pant's house in the form of a picture. Now, let us talk about another story which shows how Baba appeared in the form of his picture and fulfilled the desires of his devotee. One morning in 1917, Hemad Pant had a vision. Baba appeared to him in his dreams in the form of a well dressed sannyasi, woke him up and said that he would come to Hemad Pant's house for meals that day. When he woke, he couldn't see Sai, but he remembered each and every word Baba said in his dream. Though he had been in contact with Baba for 7 years, and though he always meditated on Baba, he had never expected Baba would come to his house for meals. However, very pleased with Baba's words, he went to his wife and informed her that since it was holy, a sannyasi guest was coming for meals and that some extra rice should be prepared. She asked who the guest was and when is he coming. Then, so as not to lead her astray and not to cause any misunderstanding, he told her the truth. She doubtingly asked whether it was possible that Baba would come from Shirdi, leaving behind dainty dishes to accept their coarse food. Hemad Pant then assured her that Baba might not come in person, but that he might attend in form of a guest, and that they would lose nothing if they cooked some extra rice. After this, preparation for lunch continued, and it was ready at noon. The Holika worship was conducted, and the leaves were spread and arranged with rangoli marks around them. Two rows of seats were arranged with a central seat between them for the guest. All the members of the family, sons, grandsons, daughters, and son in law came and occupied their proper seats, and the serving of the various dishes commenced. Everybody was waiting for the guests, but no one turned up. Though it was past noon, then the door was closed and chained. The Anna Shuddhi ghee was served. This was a signal to start eating. A formal offering to the Vaishwadev, that is fire, and Naivedya to Sri Krishna were also completed, and the family was about to begin eating when suddenly heard footsteps in the staircase. Hemad Pant went immediately and opened the door and saw two men there, Ali Muhammad and Maulana Ismu Mujawar. These two men, seeing that the whole family was about to begin eating, apologized to Hemad Pant and requested him to excuse. They said, "You left your seat and came running to us. Your family is waiting for you. So please take this and we shall relate the wonderful tale about it later on at your convenience." Saying this, Ali Muhammad took out from under his armpit a packet wrapped in an old newspaper and placed it on the table. Hemad Pant unwrapped the packet and saw to his great wonder and surprise a nice big picture of Sai Baba. Seeing it, he was moved. Tears ran from his eyes and hair stood on end all over his body, and he bent and placed his head at Baba's feet in the picture. He thought the Baba had blessed him by his Leela. Out of curiosity, he asked Ali Muhammad. When he got this picture, he said that he had bought it from a shop and that he would give all the details about it sometime later, and wished that Himmat Pant should go back and join the family, as they were all waiting for him. Himmat Pant thanked him, bade them goodbye, and returned to the dining hall. The picture was placed on the central seat reserved for the guest, and after the due offering of Naivedya, the whole family began eating. Seeing the beautiful form in the picture, everybody was extremely pleased and wondered how all this happened. This is how Sai Baba kept his word to Hemad Pant. The story of the picture with all its details, how Ali Muhammad bought it and how he ended up giving it to Hemad Pant, reserved for the next chapter. End of the chapter 40. Om Sai Ram, Om Satchidananda Sadguru, Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai.